I heard that you haven't been taking care of the house at all. You should either take care of the household chores or go find yourself a job. As Harold's wife, you should do what is expected of you. If you don't, my son is going to leave you and you're going to have to move out of the house.
Did you come over to our place again without telling me? I've asked you over and over again not to come to our house unannounced. I would appreciate it if you let me know beforehand.
Melanie, why do you have to be so bossy all the time? The house belongs to Harold. And as his mother, don't you think that I have the right to come over as I please?
I think that the house belongs to the both of us. Harold and I are married. Please don't treat me like I'm Harold's accessory. Harold and I are equals.
I just don't understand why you're so hostile towards me. I know what you're thinking. You're only after Harold's money and assets. As his mother, I'm going to do everything in my power to stop you.
I don't know why you're so paranoid. I'm not after Harold's money. You've got it all wrong. And I'm sorry to say this, but Harold doesn't have much money or assets.
What do you mean by that? If Harold really doesn't have much money, it's because you spent it all. You're exploiting him.
I don't understand where you're coming from. Why are you messaging me anyway? What do you need? I'm still working, so if you don't need anything specific, I'm going to go now.
Harold told me that you don't do any of the household chores, which is why I've been coming over to the house when I can. I've been making him dinner. I prepared many things today so that it will last a while, and so that Harold doesn't have to worry about making his own dinner. I made the meals for Harold, so please don't eat them yourself.
You really didn't have to go through all that trouble, but thank you anyway. Harold has a lot of time on his hands, so I'm sure that he has more than enough time to help out around the house and cook meals himself.
How could you say such a thing? Harold works until midnight every day. You don't seem to understand that he works really hard. I feel sorry for him. He works hard, and then his wife spends all his hard-earned money. What you're doing to him is truly unforgivable.
I think this is all a big misunderstanding. I'm not using any of Harold's money. It's the other way around. We're both living off of my earnings. I think it's about time you saw the truth about your son. He's not as perfect as you think. You should sit down and talk with him.
Harold told me not to take your words seriously.
Did he really say that to you?
He did, and I believe what he tells me. I'm not going to allow you to continue to live off Harold's hard-earned money. He deserves better than this. How about you try to be a better wife to him?
I'd like to say the same thing to him. Harold hasn't been a very good husband to me.
Harold works until midnight every day. What more do you want from him? Don't you care about his health and well-being? You should treat him with a little more respect.
Okay, fine.
If you agree with what I'm saying, you need to start behaving the way that I want you to as well.
I realize that this is just a waste of time to keep on talking to you like this.
A waste of time?
I'm busy with work now, so please stop messaging me. Bye. Oh, and please let me know in advance the next time you plan to come over to our house. Why didn't you come home last night? Were you working through the night?
That's right. I just got off work, so I'll come home in a bit.
I know that you let your mother come over to our house again. I asked you to tell me when she comes over. Why did you try to hide it from me?
I wasn't hiding anything. Besides, why do I have to let you know every time my mother comes over? She's my mother, not some stranger.
Even if it's your mother, I'd like to know in advance. I don't like people showing up at our house unannounced.
Well, it's my house too. I don't always have to follow your rules. It's my mother. You have nothing to worry about. Why do you care so much?
I don't get along with your mother well. I'd rather she not show up at our house. Let me know the next time you plan on having her over.
Okay, whatever. By the way, I need some money. Will you give me some, please?
Why? What happened to the salary that you earned?
It's not payday just yet. I have a couple more days to go. I need some money before then, so please.
You'd better not go gambling again with my hard-earned money.
I won't, I promise. You got nothing to worry about.
I think that I have every reason to be worried. I won't forgive you if I find out later that you used my money on gambling.
I need $1,000.
I am not going to give you such a large amount of money. I'd like to make some time to sit down with your mother and talk, the three of us. I can't continue to go on like this.
I need to go. Later. Just leave the money that I asked you for at home. I really need the money.
Are you even listening to me?
I felt so bad for Harold, so I did the best thing that I could for him as his mother. Please don't try to control him anymore.
What?
I realized after going to your house a couple of times, Harold needs me more than he needs you.
I don't understand where this is coming from. What are you talking about?
I want you to pack up your things and move out of the house. I can't have you living off Harold's anymore like some parasite.
You're not making any sense to me right now. Tell me what's going on. I need you to explain it to me.
You guys are divorced now.
What the hell? Why am I hearing about this from you and not Harold?
I found the divorce papers at your house, so I took the liberty of filing them for you. It's what you wanted, right? Seeing that you had the divorce papers filled out and ready.
Does this mean that you went into our bedroom and went through our stuff? How could you? You're right. I did have the divorce papers ready. I knew that things with Harold and I weren't going well, and I wanted the option of ending our marriage if it ended up being the case.
Well, I filed them for you, so there's no need for you to worry about that anymore. You and Harold are back to being strangers now. That's why I'm asking you to pack up your things and move out.
I cannot believe that you filed the divorce papers without asking our permission. What you did is ludicrous. I didn't expect you to take things this far.
Well, I couldn't bear to see Harold so unhappy in his marriage anymore. You should be grateful that Harold put up with you for so long and let you stay in his beautiful home. It's now time for you to leave.
I don't understand why you're so self-righteous. Are you sure that you made the right choice here? Harold is going to be the one to suffer if I leave him. I'll be just fine on my own. You're going to regret the fact that you filed those papers.
I'm not going to regret anything. It was the best thing for Harold. Don't you know how much Harold makes in a month? His monthly salary is $10,000.
Are you sure about that?
I'm the one preparing all of his meals right now, and if you stop taking his money, his entire salary will be mine. That's why we're both happy to see you go. I don't know why Harold married you in the first place. You didn't do anything for him, and all you do is spend his money. Now hurry up and leave our house. I want you out of here ASAP.
Okay, fine. I'll move out as you wish. Good luck to the two of you then.
We don't need any luck. We'll both be very happy without you.
I was surprised to know that you filed the divorce papers without consulting us first. But I'm looking forward to your reaction when you find out the truth about my marriage to Harold.
What do you mean by that?
Let me just say this. I'm thrilled to be moving out. Thank you for filing the divorce papers.
It was my pleasure. Now, please leave. Harold and I are both so excited to start a new life without you.
Well, good for you. It was nice knowing the both of you. Goodbye.
Melanie, may I have a word with you? There's something that I want to check with you.
I'm sorry, but I have nothing to say to you. Bye.
Wait a second. There's no need for you to be so rude to me. It's about the rent.
What about the rent? The lease agreement has been changed over to your name now, so there's really no need for you to involve me.
Yes. When did you change the name of the lease over to me? You could have told me about that. Why was the lease in your name in the first place? Shouldn't have been in Harold's. And why change it over to my name and not Harold's? It just doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, Harold works part-time at a convenience store. He's not qualified to put his name on the lease agreement.
What? I didn't know that Harold worked at a convenience store. What do you mean by part-time?
You said that you wanted to talk to me about the rent. Are you going to tell me that you can't afford to pay the rent or something?
Yes, that's right. How did you know? Do you know why there's no money in Harold's bank account? It just doesn't make any sense.
Actually, it makes perfect sense to me. Harold doesn't have any real money, which is why he doesn't have any savings. But it's not something to get all nervous about. I think you misheard Harold's salary. You seem to think that he makes 10 grand a month when it's actually $1,000 a month.
What do you mean?
Harold works part-time at a convenience store, and the maximum he makes a month is $1,000. Sometimes less than that. What made you think that he made 10 times that amount?
I bet you're lying to me. Harold's salary can't be that low. Otherwise, how would he be able to afford this house? Besides, I've seen his payslip before. I don't think that I have the wrong number.
Oh, so you looked at the payslips then. I get it now. The payslips were mine, not Harold's. You just assumed that they belonged to Harold. Well, you were wrong.
Those payslips were yours?
Yes, that's right. I was the breadwinner. I work in the sales department of a global firm, so my pay is very high. That's why we were able to afford the house that you're now living in. The rent is around $2,000, which is twice what Harold earns in a month. I knew that Harold wouldn't be able to pay the rent once I moved out, which is why I put your name on the lease agreement. Don't tell me that you quit your job.
This is all new to me. I didn't know that you were the one making all the money. I can't believe this. How are Harold and I going to pay for our living expenses then? There's no way that the two of us could live off the $1,000 that Harold brings in each month. I thought he made 10 times that amount, which is why I quit my job. And I just finished selling my house.
Did the proceeds from selling the house get wired to Harold's bank account by any chance?
Yes. Is that a problem? I'm not good with money, so I had Harold take care of it all. He was more than happy to.
Well, I bet he's gambled all that money already.
What?
I have a stable job, and I have no money troubles like Harold. I didn't need him in my life to live happily. Harold used to have a good job, but then he embezzled some money and got caught. He was penniless after he paid the company compensation for the damages caused. He was also fired from his job, naturally. After that, he started gambling and borrowed money to go to casinos. Now, he has a lot of debt. When we were still married, I helped him out with his money troubles, but now that we're strangers, none of this is my concern.
Why am I only hearing about this now? When did Harold start gambling, and why didn't you tell me?
Well, he recently started working at that convenience store, and I thought that he was trying to better himself, but he's been going to casinos in the mornings when he isn't at work. Basically, he's using all his money on gambling. He hasn't changed his old habits.
Casinos?
You were so proud of Harold for working so late at night. But it's just at a convenience store and he isn't making the kind of money that you wish for. Harold isn't working long hours. He's simply in charge of the night shifts at the convenience store. I work much harder than he does and I get paid well too. I'm sure that there are college students out there that are making more money than Harold. I wish you the best of luck with everything.
It seems that I had it all wrong.
That's what I've been trying to tell you all this time, but you wouldn't listen to me.
I'm sorry that I didn't take you seriously before. I'll pay more attention to you now. So would you please forgive us and come home? I realize how much you've been doing for Harold and I. It would mean a lot to me if you moved back in with us. And I'd really appreciate it if you could help pay the rent of this house.
Why in the world would I do that after the way you treated me?
No way!
It is too late to try to be nice to me. I know that it's just an act and that you're only after my money. I already moved into a fabulous new place and I am very happy living on my own. I can't believe that I used to live with Harold. Life on my own is so much more comfortable and enjoyable. I should have divorced him sooner instead of waiting for you to file those papers. I'm very grateful to you for filing those papers, though. So thank you for taking care of it.
You don't need to thank me for that. It'd make me much happier if you got back together with Harold. You used to be married to him. Don't you worry that he doesn't have enough money to live off of? I don't know what to do. How am I supposed to pay for everything? You need to help us. Melanie, please.
Well, like you said, we're strangers now, so I don't think that I can do anything for you. You told me that I was a parasite and that I should move out. I took your advice and moved out. Shouldn't you be satisfied with that?
Asking you to move out was a mistake. I take it back. I'm really sorry. Please forgive me and move back home.
I'm sorry, but it's just too late. There's not anything you can say to change my mind. Please figure things out with Harold. I'll stay out of your life like you wanted me to. Goodbye now. Harold is a new parasite in your life. Enjoy! After her conversation with Melanie, Helen confirmed with Harold that Melanie was telling the truth. And as Melanie had predicted, Harold had already spent the proceeds from selling Helen's house on gambling. The money was gone. So Helen no longer had the money to buy back her old house even if she wanted to. For obvious reasons, Helen and Harold were not able to afford the rent of their current home and had no choice but to move out. They even had to pay a penalty fee to the landlord because they were late in paying the rent. Helen and Harold ended up on the streets, and although Helen had hoped to live a happy life using Harold's money, she ended up living a life of despair. It doesn't seem like it would be easy for either of them to get stable jobs.